Right, we're about to install this 8-foot galvanized gate here to this post. What we had to do is we had to mark off the spots where the hinges are going to go here, and we had to make sure also that these are pretty straight with the tube itself. So he didn't want to be too far this way or that way, so just check that before you install, unless that's how you want to install it. It all depends on how you're going to install your gate. This one we had to adjust down some. It was way up here, close to this bend. So we just, loosened it up, slid it down enough to where it's more along the main part of the tube, and then just had to make sure it was straight across. And then we set it to our fence post, make sure it was even and level with it, and then marked off along the bottom of this where we're going to drill our hole for these, because these, they'll sit on the hinges like that. So we basically are going to drill close to where, towards the bottom of this, that's where the screw parts, the threaded part's going to go in, right? And then to pick the, we're using a 24. Let me go over there and verify this, but when you're picking your drill bit, and all of these are pretty standard for what you get, you want to pick a drill bit that's not too large but not too small. It might be hard to get with the camera here, but you want to see threading on both sides of your drill bit when you center your drill bit. You don't want your drill bit to be as big, and you don't want to be too small as well, or else it's gonna take you a lot of force to screw the hinge in. So you want it to be just right at the sweet spot, but you want to see it threading on both sides. So for this one I chose, which is what I've done for all of our other gates, I chose the it's a 27/64 there drill bit to use, and that gives us the threading plenty of bite into the wood, keep it sturdy, to last over time, but not so small that it's going to take you a while to turn it, because these things are not as easily installed, especially on the bottom of here, because of how low it is to the ground. The only way you're going to be able to turn this as it gets further in, it's going to get harder and harder. You're going to have to use a tube, a pipe of some kind, to put over the end of that, and you're going to turn it. But see, as you get lower, unlike the top, you can just keep spinning it all the way around 360. On your low side, when you hit bottom, you're going to have to use a channel lock here. You got to set your channel lock to the correct opening position, so where you can grip on the outside part here. You grip on the outside part, and once it gets to where you can't turn it with your pipe anymore, you'll grip it with your channel lock on the outside part and turn it with the channel lock until you get it back into the right position to use your hoe. And you have to keep doing that, so it takes longer to do the bottom than the top. Okay, so we've got the bottom one in. Christian's working on the top one. We've already marked it off, and just make sure you put it in the center of the post, obviously, just so that you want to keep your hinges strong. So as I mentioned before, you put your pipe on it, you spin it. With this one, you're going to hit the ground. For the top one, obviously you can keep going 360, but for the bottom one, you'll have to set your channel lock to where it needs to be, so that it can grip around this outside edge here, and the teeth of your channel lock will catch it. And then I just spin it. Try and do this one-handed, sorry. And then spin it until it gets the other side. Then you use your pipe and swing it around again. Switch over to the channel lock, swing it around. I mean, you could continue with the channel lock if you wanted to, and keep using the channel lock, or you can keep using the channel lock, or you can use a combination of pipe and channel lock, depending on what's easier for you. Obviously, the top, if you keep the pipe on it, you can just keep spinning it. It's much quicker. as Christian is doing there. So we'll be back once we have the hinges in. Set the gate on it, and then we'll finish it up. Okay, so for our standard 4x4 post, the problem you're going to have is this part's going to stick out. Once you have your hinge installed, it's going to stick out unless you don't drill it in all the way or screw it in all the way. Normally we like to screw it in all the way to get the fence as close as we want to against the post, but you have this issue. Now if you use 4x6, you won't have that issue. Obviously 4x6 is more money. We don't really need that size. So to mitigate this issue, you can cut a T or a crosshair slit in a tennis ball, stick it over this if you want to, or any kind of ball that has a hollow and that's easily cut into. Or you can use a 2x4, another piece of wood, just drill a hole in it and then just put it over the top of it and start turning it on, and basically just where it'll fasten itself onto the tip of that. And you know, once you get close enough, that's makes a cover there.